Namaste and welcome to Rugved About Sports. Today I have an exciting topic to discuss, one that has captured the hearts of cricket enthusiasts, especially in the southern states of India. Yes, we are talking about the Tamil Nadu Premier League. TNPL, with its competitive format, high quality cricket, passionate fan base, and television coverage, has become a sensation in regional cricketing landscape and probably a great blueprint for other regional leagues in the country. The league concluded recently with Laika Kovai Kings winning the league for the second consecutive time. Today I'll be speaking with Samrudh Bhatt, who is an ex-TNPL player as well as team analyst to understand more about the league. Keep watching. Hey, this is Rigved About Sports. Hello and welcome to Rugved About Sports. We have Samrudh with us today. So first of all, congratulations that your team where you have worked as analyst has won the TNPL for the second consecutive time. So we would like to know how was your experience playing in the TNPL and your overall experience as a player.
First of all, thanks for having me. And it's interesting you asked me about my experience as a player because uh, since the IPL has come about, this T20 format has become a huge deal, especially in India. And then I think it was Karnataka who started off with the KPL in the regional sort of T20 tournament setup, and they did that. And people in Tamil Nadu, we were seeing that, and we were a bit envious because Tamil Nadu has the best cricketing system in India, league system in terms of that. There is heavy investment from corporates, so players are paid handsomely. So players are not dependent on just government jobs for an income. If you're a good player, you could make a living out of just playing in the leagues and things like that, even if you don't play in the first class at the first class level, I would say. So then slowly we did start hearing murmurs for a couple of years. I think it took almost 2 years to conceptualize this whole TNPL. There were talks, okay, it's going to come, it's going to come. And me as a 17, 18-year-old at that time, it was a very exciting prospect because I was already part of the Tamil Nadu under 19 setup. And then being a part of that setup, you would expect, okay, if this sort of tournament comes up, yes, at least one team will take me, I'll have a taker. That expectation was there. But then until TNC actually came out and said and came out and launched the tournament officially, we didn't know if it would happen. Then once it happened, it was great. I mean, first year I got picked by my late coach VB Chandrasekhar in his team. So he had bought a team, he picked me. I mean, unfortunately, I didn't get to play that year, but then it was still a great experience because it's the first time we're all experiencing cricket under floodlights, things like that. And a big part of the TNPL is the districts. Because if you see, initially at least there were some games that were played at Chepak and things like that. But now the tournament is fully moved to the districts. So you get to go and experience how, I mean, cricket is worshipped in those parts of Tamil Nadu because Tamil Nadu is a pretty big state. And I mean, it started off at two grounds. Now there's two more grounds added. So it started off with Dindigul and Tirunelveli, those two grounds, and now there's a ground in Coimbatore and there's a beautiful ground in Salem now. So and they're saying that they're going to be another couple of grounds coming up with floodlights and things like that. So infrastructure development has been great by TNCA. It was a great experience just experiencing floodlight cricket, kookaburra, white ball, and I mean it's very professional. I mean, maybe not at the magnitude of the IPL, but a lot of things that happen in the IPL happen here as well in terms of being a player and what all you experience.
That's great to know because as you say, like I was thinking about the regional sports, regional development. We haven't seen many leagues get success at regional level. Like you mentioned KPL, yes, we heard about it, but not at that magnitude what TNPL has got. Like it certainly catches the attention of whole India when TNPL is on. So I would, you have touched upon the points like how the districts have benefited by getting new grounds and getting infrastructure. So what do you think, how does a young player gets benefited from such leagues at regional level?
So, I mean, you made a great point. No other regional league has been as successful as the TNPL. I would put it all I mean, a lot of credit has to go to the TNCA, the magnitude at which they do that, the investment that they've put in, and things like that. Because, like I said, cricket is extremely well invested in Tamil Nadu. Okay, firstly, you need people to invest money in the sport. Only then will, I mean, the association be able to take it to a scale where it has gained such reach. I mean, I've unofficially heard from broadcasters that apart from the top two or three international leagues, the TNPL is right there in terms of viewership ratings. That's how
Certainly.
popular it is. So, in terms of a regional player making it, I mean, it's all about exposure. This so when the TNPL started, Tamil Nadu hardly had like 3, 4 players in the IPL, and those were your usual suspects: your Dinesh Karthik, your Ashwin, and things like that. But then once this has come about, now Tamil Nadu is the most represented state in the IPL. So in a span of 6 years, we've gone from having minimal representation to having such high representation, and also a guy like Varun Chakravarti playing from and Natarajan, not to forget Natarajan. The two of them have gone on to play for India as well.
Right.
And pretty soon you might see another one in Sai Sudarshan play for India as well. So I feel like
Certainly.
it's the exposure. So a player's talent is their talent. Okay, maybe you don't make it to a certain level if you're not a good player. But apart from there, it's about gaining exposure and gaining. I mean, you with coaches, good quality coaches, high quality facilities. Those are all important to like mold a player. So only then, if they do not get that exposure, talent alone does not get people to the top. I mean, you need to be lucky to gain that exposure as well.
So, as you have touched upon identifying the talent, so you have also worked as a analyst. So, like, does scouting involve in that process?
Yes, definitely. So, like I said, the league system in Tamil Nadu, I will talk about it from a TNPL perspective first. So, the league system is very extensive. So, we have 6 divisions and at least 20, 30 teams in each division. So, I mean, I don't have the exact numbers, but it's a high volume of numbers. So, if you see when the league started, it was only players from the first and second division that predominantly got selected.
Right.
The scouting network maybe was not as extensive, or people did not know of as many players. But once as years went on going, you saw people indulging in. There's now a very well conducted district T20 tournament. So where all districts get represented, and representatives from each TNPL team go and watch those games, find talent from there. So I mean, I could give you an example. There's this bowler called G. Periaswamy. So he's from Natarajan's academy. I mean, this is so he came when I was playing for Chepauk Sobugalis. He came in and single-handedly won us a tournament. And and the great part about him is he can see only from one eye. You
Oh,
tell me. So a guy like that getting that, what do you say, exposure and reach. I mean, his story now, people everywhere around the world probably know his story. He's gone on to be a net bowler in the IPL and things like that. So I mean, it's game changing for so many people. So in terms of scouting, yeah. So when I took up this role, one advantage that I had was I had very recently been in the playing circle, so I knew a lot of people. So obviously, following all matches in each division, looking at people who might be a good fit for T20s, things like that, and then obviously bringing them into our team's culture, because I mean it's a brilliant culture that has been built by the team's captain and Shah Rukh Khan and the team management and things like that, wherein they're very supportive. They like to back young players. So if you look at the team that just won the tournament, they probably one of the most youngest teams in the tournament. Okay, and they did it without Sai Sudarshan essentially in the playoffs. I mean, everyone said, "Oh, if he goes, the team's not going to do well." He went, team didn't lose after that, still made 200 consistently. Shah Rukh didn't score in the final, they still scored 200. So that's a testament to their, I mean, scouting as well. They picked the right players and then given them the right platform to succeed. So this is what happens in a TNPL setup. Scouting network is that way. Just look at leagues and the district tournaments. Try and pick out that one odd talent that could like make a difference for your team. So in terms of the IPL, I mean, obviously Mumbai Indian scouting network is very well documented. So they have eyes on every game that happens across the world. IPL scouts come and watch TNPL games. I have seen them. RCB, scouts come in. RCB's coach, in fact, does commentary in the TNPL. I mean, so everyone comes and watches the TNPL. And there's also a lot of, hidden scouting that happens. So a team like CSK, you won't explicitly know that someone is a CSK scout. So someone who's playing the Ranji Trophy circle, who's associated with CSK, might be a hidden scout. So they probably pick out talent from the Vijay Hazare side, Mustaq Ali, and then send it over to CSK. So there's a different scouting networks. It depends on what each team wants to do, what their methods are.
So really interesting to know the insights about how this scouting process works. Moving on about the analyst role you have done at the TNPL, apart from scouting, like what exactly this role is, and if an emerging cricket enthusiast wants to pursue that role, like what qualities do you require to be one?
Firstly, you need to know a bit about the game. That's obviously first and foremost. And I was very lucky. I mean, that way I had played a lot of cricket. So yes, that was pretty easy for me. So mainly at a TNPL level, what I would say is, it's not, the use of analytics is not as extensive as what happens at an IPL level, because I have worked in the IPL as well, uh, in the back end. So I worked for a company that had a couple of IPL clients. So I do see how extensive they are in terms of their use of analytics and what they do. At the TNPL, it's definitely not that much, because one, obviously, yes, the quality and experience of the player is not that high. So you cannot feed them with too much data and analytics and
True.
confuse them. You have to allow them to go and express themselves, give them. Yes. So I would say it's about strategizing basically. So look at your opponent, what their strengths and weaknesses are, what is the best you can. So if I'm giving a bowler a plan, I tell him, okay, for this batter, this is the best ball, best line, best length to bowl, and just go and tell them. That's very minimalistic data that you give them, that will help them go there, because ultimately you want them to go out there and express themselves and play with a lot of freedom. If you feed in a lot of data at that level, they're probably going to get overwhelmed and not going to be able to perform at their best. So this is something in our setup, that's what we decided to do. So at an IPL level, you might have. So I've played for a team that uses a lot of data, that has a lot of meetings, that feeds us with a lot of information. But the team that I worked with was completely different in that aspect. It was very minimalistic and just feeding the players with as much as they needed. Okay, so that way, yes, you try and get the best out of them. You try and strike a balance per se.
Yeah, so in a way it depends on the team, like how they love to approach this data and how do they want to use it as well.
Yes, exactly. So there is no perfect formula, I would say. Okay, I'll give you an example of the IPL as well. The two most successful teams, Chennai Super Kings and Mumbai Indians, they're complete opposite ends of the spectrum. Mumbai uses a lot of data, extensive scouting, X, Y, Z. CSK is more intuition. It's Dhoni calling the shots, playing with experience and things like that. You always hear CSK players saying we don't have many meetings, things like that. But then both are equally successful. So I wouldn't say so. It's about, like I said, it's about finding the right balance, where you're able to get the best out of your players ultimately. Because there, you can give them as much data, as much instructions as you want, but ultimately it's them going out there and playing. So they have to be able to perform on that stage. So
Exactly. Yeah, get the point. So moving on, you have talked about emerging players, young players. So as a player as well as analyst, you must have seen this. So what difference do you see between an player who is trying to get in the team and a regional player? Like what are the differences? Is it just the quality of cricket, or it is a mental aspect as well?
so it's a bit of both. So like a young player will be very eager. Okay, so when you're eager and when you have that eagerness, you want to get to the next level, you might miss out on certain like basic things. You might lose sight of that. But then a player at the international level, okay, no, these are the basics. I've come here. These are the things I need to do. So I guess, it's the duty of coaches and everyone, like management, that is around young players at these regional leagues, to ensure that the young players don't lose sight of these basics. Because I'll give you an example of, yes, Sai Sudarshan. He was a part of our team. If you look at him, he's a very simple guy. He's no nonsense, but his work ethic is incredible. Okay, if there's a 2 hour practice session, he will not waste a single minute of it. He will bat as much as he can. I'm pretty sure coaches everywhere are sick of him because he doesn't want to get out of the net at all. So then, okay, if you forcibly get him out of the net, he'll be knocking somewhere. He does that, then he goes to train. So those are all the benefits of all this preparation. His work ethic is what is showing for him at the IPL level. Now he's part of India A, things like that. Hopefully in the future he will play for India as well. So that's just an example. So in our team as well, the young guys that were around him picked up from him straight away. So last year, everyone followed him. Okay, they saw this is what you need to succeed. Yeah. So everyone's work ethic was great. So a lot of them who picked up points from him last year did really well this year. So it's just that, in the TNPL, now that Tamil Nadu has so many stars in the cricketing, Indian cricket circle, every team has one good big player. So you need to pick out things from them. Okay, what are they doing? You just have to be a keen observer. Yeah. Things like that. Pick out little things that are going to help you take you to the next level.
So this perfectly explains like why this such leagues, regional leagues, might help the Indian cricket overall as well. Like we definitely need such regional leagues. We have been hearing such league for Maharashtra as well. So just a fanboy question while concluding. You have met the likes of Virat Kohli and McGrath. So how was that experience meeting with those guys?
So there were two very different experiences. So Virat Kohli was nothing related to cricket. How I met him, so I was just lucky. Someone told him I was a cricketer, and so he was very kind enough. He didn't take pictures with anyone else. But when someone told him, okay, this guy's a young cricketer, Tamil Nadu cricketer, he called me into his vanity van and took a picture with me and greeted me and things like that. So that he didn't need to do that, but he did do that. So even there, I'll tell you something about Kohli. So I assisted him for an ad shoot, and even there, he was so meticulous. He ensured he wanted to do everything perfectly, did his job, and went. With McGrath, it was at the MRF Pace Foundation, so it was completely different. It was very cricket related. So, you learned how. We have seen his greatness on TV, but I experienced his greatness in person. The way he spoke. So he's such a perfectionist. He said, this is something he told me, not just me, everyone who was in the room. He said, at the top of his run-up, before every single ball, he would visualize, okay, this ball is going to pitch here, this is what is going to happen. Every single ball that he did. He said, he said he's never had a perfect game. He said the closest he was to perfection was he had 59 out of 60 balls in one-day game against New Zealand. So 59 balls out of 60 that he bowled were exactly where he wanted to go. So that's just greatness. I know how difficult fast bowling is, how difficult it is to be accurate and things like that. But if a man can do that, it's just greatness. And the way he spoke, he was very, very nice. To everyone, gave great advice, things like that.
So yeah, absolutely love talking to you about this, and really good days for Indian cricket. So it was really nice talking with you, Samruddh. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Yeah, even I hope other leagues kick off, and then you want competition there also. You want every league to be good as well. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Yeah.